All right, Friday. Woohoo, Friday. I have to admit, when Friday was the only day I worked, which I'm guessing it will be again next month, kind of made me think I hated Fridays. Everybody loves Fridays but me. If Friday was the only day you worked, wouldn't that kind of be a downer? Yeah, but that's all right. I'm enjoying or anticipating a good weekend. And by good weekend, I guess I mean there's some good football games, football matches, and football games to differentiate, if you want. It would be a good week. It'll be a good weekend for the entertainment factor. If it would be a good weekend for my teams, that would be splendid. I'm writing off the Steelers. It's going to be a long year. I don't have great expectations for them. But Penn State has a big one tomorrow, and Tottenham has a big one tomorrow. So, yeah, if they can pull off wins, that'd be cool. I tend to pull for my friends' teams as well. Sometimes, unless my friend is, well, let's just say if my friendship is a charity case to somebody from Ohio, I'm not pulling for Ohio State. I don't give a fuck if they ever win a game. So that's kind of out the window. But like, I got a buddy who's a Tennessee alum. I'll pull for Tennessee tomorrow. It'd be nice to have somebody other than Alabama be at the top of the heap. That doesn't happen very often lately. I'm one of those people, I'm kind of indifferent when it comes to other teams. I don't get real riled up about my team if they lose. I mean, it's a bummer, but man, I got buddies whose teams, if they lose, their weekend and maybe even longer than that is just ruined, and I don't want to be that way. Maybe I am sometimes, but so be it. So Clemson plays Florida State. I'm sure Clemson's favored. I don't know by how much. It's probably closer than I'm thinking, but I don't even know what time that game's on television. I'm sure it is, but that should be entertaining as well. I think I heard yesterday Clemson's won 6 in a row, something like that, and I think it's in Tallahassee. So I don't know. Maybe FSU sneaks up on them, but we'll see. Should be fun. Tottenham plays Everton. That's going to be the test. Is how am I going to keep up with Penn State, because I think they kick off at noon. But Tottenham kicks off at 12:30, and I know members of my inner circle, as well as buddies from the Y and stuff, might be surprised to hear, but I will probably not watch Penn State at all until the Spurs match is over. That's just where it is for me. I grew up playing soccer. I didn't grow up playing football. I've watched football most of my life because my father would have it on as a very young child. Soccer, real football, that's what I love. American football, it's second place. I don't know if it's how close it is. It is close, I guess, but yeah, proper football is the bee's knees for me. So, anyway, Premier League back this weekend. We actually have a game today. I don't remember who's playing today. And I don't think I'm going to be able to commit the time to sit and watch. Besides the fact that it's Friday, and this is the third of 5 days that I've been up at 3:30. So if I sat down to watch that match, odds are I'm falling asleep. I've got yard work that needs done. I've got some chores around the house I've been putting off. Maybe today is the day I get some of those done, and that helps keep me awake so I can go to bed at a decent hour. I don't know. We'll see. But We're almost there. The weekend's almost here. I think I work Monday too. I gotta double check that. So I got an extra day again next week. Not a big deal. But pulling into the workhouse. There's an extra car here. I don't know who's here. Anyway, I'm at work. I'll holler at you. Alright, so I'm heading home from work. I guess we all have tendencies of towards things that we notice in particular with anyone that we encounter. And I'm a red-blooded American male, and so I notice women. And if a woman is wearing a Penn State hat, I'm gonna really notice that. So there's a lady at the Y who's been coming to the Y for as long as I can remember, and I've just, other than just pleasantries of hello and an occasional exchange of some comments, we've never had an extended conversation. But for nearly as many of those years as I can remember, she's worn a Penn State hat to come in when she exercises. As a lot of women do. It's a nice way, I guess, to control your hair if you have long hair. Keep it out of your face, at least. And so I had just had a couple other conversations with some of the guys in the gym. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'll probably have another one here in a second. About this weekend's college football games, one of which being the Penn State-Michigan game, which I mentioned earlier. And it's a big game. So I went up to her, knowing that she had for all these years, not today, but had previous years of wearing a Penn State hat. And I didn't want to just be incredibly presumptuous. So I said to her, who I've now eventually came to find out her name was Becky. Am I remembering correctly that you were a Penn State fan? And she said, no, not at all. No. And that was it. She didn't say, oh, but I used to wear a hat, or my husband is and I wore one of his hats, or whatever other explanation she might have given me for wearing a Penn State hat. Which, if it was only once or twice, maybe I would say, I must be imagining things. But I'm not. And I'd bet my soul on it. So, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, why are you lying about this? I just found that supremely odd. Supremely is my word of the day, by the way. Right? Am I wrong about that? That's kind of weird. Maybe she's one of those people who is ashamed to the point of all extraction from their brain of Penn State over the issues they had a few years ago regarding a former football coach. I just found that really odd, and I didn't say any more, and I don't know that I'll ever talk to her again, because I thought, if you're willing to lie about something like that, or maybe you're just forgetting, but you wore that hat a lot for a long time, why would you say no? And like I said, if you're not a fan, you're just wearing the hat, did you completely forget that you wore a Penn State hat to the gym every time you came in there for years? That was just surprising to me. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that, maybe ask you if you have ever experienced anything like that. So there's that. Let's see what else happened today. Well, one of my co-workers who's been having some health issues, heart-related health issues, said to me yesterday, as actually I guess we were both leaving about the same time, and this coworker said on the way out the door, I'll see you tomorrow unless I die tonight. What? You're having really serious issues? Why would you say that? Why would you jokingly say that? So, they usually show up a little after 8. And so today about 8:15, I started watching the door, kind of waiting for him to show. And 8:20 came by, and 8:30, and 8:45. I thought, my God, what the hell's going on? So I didn't want to be on my phone any more than I already am when I'm not supposed to be. So I thought, I'm going to wait till my relief shows up, which is usually a little before 9. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Old people shouldn't drive sometimes. This particular relief person, my coworker, is usually early, and it was a few minutes to 9 when she walked in the door, and I said, "You didn't happen to see Tony up front, did you?" She said, "No." I said, "Oh, brother." So I got on the phone and I texted Tony. I said, "Hey man, you good?" What else do you say? And that son of a bitch waited almost 30 minutes to respond. I thought, damn, dude. And now in the meantime, I'm telling a couple other people that I know are also familiar with the current issues he's experiencing. And nobody's heard from him. They all know the same things that I know about what's going on and what he's doing and or not doing about it. And so now we were all kind of just waiting. And I was actually in the truck and just pulled out of the parking lot. I was on the road, but I had literally just pulled out of the parking lot when he finally responded. And he was good. He was actually at a cardiologist, hopefully addressing some of the issues he's been having. And he, of all people, should know better than to ignore. So, I guess what I'm getting at is, look, if you know better and you have a medical issue, address it. Now, I'm saying that when there's plenty of things that I choose to ignore. But, my God, and if you're going to ignore it and it is that serious, don't say things like, "I'll see you tomorrow unless I die tonight." Not funny! I mean, I guess it kind of is. That is kind of my sense of humor, but I get it. Anyway, glad to know that he's still with us. God almighty. Anyway, another thing I was going to talk about here. Let me turn my truck off, take the seatbelt off, chillax for a minute. So I go to the same place after work every Friday for my lottery tickets. And I don't have to. I could get them anywhere, but these folks are really nice, and I've been getting them there for a while. One of the reasons that I started going to this particular location was, first of all, they have every scratch-off available, which is kind of nice. A lot of places only have a handful. I used to get my scratch-offs at the grocery store, but they only ever had, just a small handful of options. This place has them all. And they also post a printout of the current scratch-off games and how many of the top prizes are still available, which is nice if you're one of those people who, like me, wants to play the games that have the most top prizes still available. I mean, we all want to win $50 or $100 or $1,000, but we really want to win the top prize. And I prefer the $5 ones, which usually have a top prize of $200,000 or $250,000. Sometimes maybe you'll find one, I guess, with $300,000, but that's usually a $10 ticket. I ain't doing that. Anyway, so when I would get my lottery tickets at the grocery store, it started to become a more frequent thing that I would be behind a lady who clearly was trying to make her living at playing the lottery. And maybe she does. Maybe she's won enough big times that that's all she does. Maybe she also just wastes a whole lot of her income on the lottery. I know. I waste some of my income too on the lottery, but it's a controlled amount. I have, like I've said before, I have a certain amount that I'm willing to play with. If I win a little bit more, then I play a little bit more. This lady gets hundreds of dollars of tickets and quite often uses the fill-in slips that you do for like the pick threes and pick fours and all those kind of things. And she'll get dozens. I really would love to be there sometime behind her and count what she's doing or how many of the tickets she's getting. So it kind of got to be a pain in the ass that every time I'd go to the grocery store, and I would usually do it after I've already bought my groceries. So there I am with a buggy full of groceries, and I'm waiting on this lady to finish doing her thing before I can get mine. For some reason, I thought, you know what? I'm going to go over to the such and such and get my tickets there. Like I said, I knew they had all the games available. And it's a mom and pop place, and they're just nice folks. So I started going over there. And don't you know, after a month or two maybe, that lady started showing up there too. And I know that the folks, grocery store or the little convenience store, they're just doing their job to help the lady get what she wants to get. But you also can tell that they are frustrated with the fact that she's commandeering so much of their time and making other customers wait. Today I walked in. She'd already given them all her slips. Well, those things only can do so much at one time. So he's putting the thing in, another ticket comes out. Puts another slip in, and another ticket comes out. And he's holding a stack of them. I'm going to guess somewhere in the neighborhood of 30, maybe 40 of these slips that she's running through the thing. Well, while she's waiting on him to process all of those, she's already purchased some scratch-offs. So she's over at a little counter they have for lottery, and she's scratching. So by the time he's done, finally, and he's looked at everybody that's walked in, and he's looked at me standing there with a stack of tickets to cash in from last week. I say a stack, not the kind of stack she's dealing with. And he says to me, sorry, I'll be with you in a minute. I said, I told him, I said, no sweat, take your time, I understand. Going. And so she walks back over, and I guess because she was kind of technically mid process, that she felt okay getting in front of me, standing there, and not at least acknowledging that she was kind of already in line, just took her place as she felt belonged to her. And in the meantime, I'm still sitting there thinking, I'm glad I'm really not in a hurry, but this is kind of annoying. And another guy comes up, and he's kind of doing the same thing. He played one, he won one, he's cashing one in, and he wants a couple Powerball tickets. And I told him, just go ahead. I'm good. I'm just standing here. I've got about 10 or 12 winners from last week that I wanted to cash in. And in the meantime, more people are coming in. It's a busy little shop. So I just keep, go ahead. Y'all going for me. Go ahead. Because it's, one or two things. One guy's buying a can of tobacco. Another guy wants 2 $5 tickets. One guy wants a pack of cigarettes. I mean, it's just, a sodas or whatever. Little, like you do in a convenience store. One or two little things here and there. And I thought, how many customers would be pissed off enough, kind of like how I got at the grocery store, that they just won't come in to this location for lottery anymore. I mean, odds are if you're a smoker, or as was one of the gentlemen that came in while I was there, a tobacco user, or if you stop there to get your drinks on your way to work or whatever, you're still going to stop there. But if you're going to do a 5-minute procedure to get lottery tickets and you've got her and me in front of you in line, you're not going to go back there for that. Now, this place is called the Garden Spot. It's one of the busiest lottery retailers in the upstate. They've had a lot of big winners. So people are clearly okay standing there, getting their lottery tickets there. And I guess I am too. But I'm also cognizant of the fact that I'm going to take a few minutes longer than most folks, and I'm going to let people go in front of me. This lady's taking 3, 4, 5 times the amount of time that I'm taking. You just wonder, could she not break that up some? I know there are some games that they draw numbers every day, and so I guess you want your tickets every day. Most of those tickets, you can, if you're filling out a slip, you can specify when and what time and all that about the drawings. Maybe she needs a way to get her tickets for the week all at once. Or maybe she needs to make a trip to the store every day so that she's not getting a week's worth all at once. I don't know. Just one of the little things that makes me say, So, talking to the boys this morning about football. My two buds. One is avid Clemson fan, one is an avid Tennessee fan. Tennessee's having a hell of a year, so Tennessee has more fans currently than they've had probably in quite a while. But this guy's loyal. He's an alum. He's been their fan all along, thick and thin. He's pretty tickled with how they're playing right now. They got a big game this weekend with Alabama. My other bud, the Clemson fan, travels to their games. And when I say travels to their games, we're talking travels anywhere. Has been to the various semifinals and championship games around the country. A few weeks ago, he flew to a game with a friend who had a private jet or plane. They flew to a game. Drives to any game within 3 or 4 hours he'll drive to. So I asked him, his son played for Clemson. I mean, he's an alum too. He's a big fan. So after talking to the one about Tennessee, I asked, hey, you going to Tallahassee? Tallahassee's where Florida State is. That's who's Clemson's playing. No, I'm playing in a golf tournament tomorrow. What? Clemson, Florida State's kind of a big game. Florida State isn't what they have been in decades gone by, but I think they're resurging, but nonetheless, it's still a conference rival. I was just a little surprised by that. Now, Clemson is playing a night game, so there's every chance that he can be done with his golf tournament and home in time to still see the game. But he did admit it was going to be close. He hoped he got home in time. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. At least if you're you live local and you're a Clemson fan, you can get to Clemson in under an hour. But my buddy's driving to Knoxville to see Tennessee. I guess if I had tickets to the game and they were playing Alabama, I would happily drive there too. And his brother and his nephew are going with him and his son to the game, which is nice. And I told him that I would be sure to text him about 15 minutes before kickoff so we could talk about Amway. That's kind of our own running joke about me annoying him when he's getting ready to watch his team play. I know it's annoying to him because he doesn't do it back to me when Penn State's getting ready to play. So I'm going to keep on doing it. Anyway. Well, I guess I can't procrastinate a whole lot more. What time we got here? It's 10 after 10. Walt was up yesterday when I got home. What are the odds that he's up again today? I don't want to say up early because it's not early. It's 10 after 10. But more often than not, when I get home on Friday, I got to wake him up with breakfast. The only reason I wake him up then with breakfast is because breakfast is hot. I have purchased it on the way home. And I would rather him eat it while it's fresh, so to speak, because he also will call me out. That's not the right word. He will also annoy me to heat up his breakfast if it's not hot. But today I'm actually just reheating some quiche that's in the fridge for him to have for breakfast, so I don't feel like I'm in a big hurry to get in there and wake him up and feed him. He may be sitting there watching television. I think it was Jim Gaffigan years ago used to talk about, you know what? It wasn't Jim Gaffigan. I think it was Drew Carey when he still did stand up. Anyway, whoever it was would talk about their grandfather who had some dementia setting in, kind of like Walt does, and how they would during a football game see a replay and think they scored again. and that the game they were watching was much more interesting. And so I do think about that when I walk in there, on a random Tuesday morning and Walt's watching a game that he thinks is live. Like, damn, when have you ever seen a live college football game at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning? So there's every chance I could walk in there and he's watching a game that he thinks is live. He is to the point where he doesn't know what day it is. I have noticed occasions where he and I've talked about something relative to what day it is, where he'll hit the guide on his TV so that he can see, date and know what time it is, what day it is. But you know what? That's part of aging, I guess, and we're all going to be there sooner or later. He just happens to be there now, and I just happen to be the one dealing with it. I do remember when my grandmother was living here with my parents for a few years before my mom died, and then my grandmother went to elsewhere. Where my mother eventually had to have a dry erase board that she would have in my grandmother's bedroom, saying what day it is and what they were doing that day. Because every day when she woke up, in her mind, every day was Sunday, and she would go into the bathroom, even if it was 1 a.m. When she woke up, it must be Sunday morning, and we've got to get ready for church. So she'd be in the bathroom, running water, doing her thing, whatever, when on the other side of that wall, my parents were in bed asleep. And I guess that was my mother's effort to get her mother to go back to bed and relax and not try to get ready for church. And I'm wondering if maybe soon, if not already, I should be doing that for Walt. Just have a large sign every day saying today is whatever and such is on TV, because that's what he'll ask me next. He has asked me every day this week, Chrissy, what time's Penn State on? I probably already told you this. Now I'm repeating myself. Chrissy, what time's Penn State on? Well, Dad, they're on Saturday at noon. Next question. What day is it? Really? You're going to ask me, but other times you just look at the guide on your TV. Why don't you just look at the guide on your TV? Oh, because he doesn't care. He knows I'm going to tell him and not think anything about it, which is what I would do. So, anyway. That's where life is for us right now. My grass looks good. I'm sitting here looking at it. It's nice and green, getting a little thicker. I have one more. No, I have 5 more days, and I can cut it. I had to wait 4 weeks after aeration and overseeding. I can see the spots that haven't been watered properly over that period because they are not quite as green as they should be. But there's growth. All right, now I'm just rambling. I got to get in the house and feed the old fucker, and then I got to exercise. So I got a lot that I want to get done today. Fingers crossed I can get half of it done at least, and we'll go from there. I already told you that earlier. I know. I'm repeating myself again. See ya. I'm just kidding. I'm back. So now it is 4:15. Let's see. Since I last talked to the phone, to the camera, to the thousands of people watching, 3 loads of laundry. Made my bed. Got dinner in the crock pot. I guess I'll have some, but I'm not sure that I will because I still have some leftovers that need to be eaten, and I might just eat those and make tonight's dinner a leftover for later. Okay, so if you want something you can have on hand, and it's super easy, and if you get up in the morning and say, oh crap, I don't have anything for dinner, put this on and you'll enjoy it. Johnsonville brats, just regular old brats or beer brats. What's the difference? Anyway, beer and an onion cut up. Not small cut up, just big pieces. And stick in the crock pot. The longer the better. I got mine going today, and it'll cook for damn near 9 hours before dinner. We do eat dinner late here. But those brats will be so tender, you can hardly even pick them up. Don't pick them up with your fingers. They are just falling apart. And if you look closely at the beer, you'll see all the fat that has cooked out of those brats. Are they fat-free? Of course not. However, a significant amount of fat is cooked out of those things, which is helpful. And, of course, as you know, if you've watched me at all, I try to not do the carbs. So, of course, it's a meat, so it doesn't have much, if any, carbs. Even though it is a processed meat, I'm sure there are some carbs added to it, but very little. Some of those probably cook away too. And mustard, maybe a little slice of cheese or something, maybe. But just mustard and one of my low-carb pitas. Chumama, that's good stuff. Anyway, I always like giving that to Walt too because it's so soft and mushy and just falling apart almost that it provides very little fodder for his exorbitant coughing. Which he and I actually talked about today. He wears headphones to watch TV, and I genuinely don't think he realizes how much he coughs and the severity of some of his coughing. Anyway, so yeah, it's a good meal for him in that regard too. Of course, neither one of us really need the processed meat, but you gotta die somehow. So, Walt actually said that to me today. I wish now I could remember what the hell we were talking about. Anyway, yeah, he said, well, you gotta die somehow. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I guess if you get to pick how you're gonna die, you might make it by indulging in a food that's maybe not so good for you. Which is what I'm planning on tomorrow. Anyway, I have not yet exercised. I did get a lot done. I did carpet fresh. Just try to freshen up the smell and vacuum my room real good and clean the bathroom real good. Actually took my shower curtain cover off and washed it with a couple of blankets and broke down some cardboard boxes for the recycling and had a couple of boxes come delivered from Sam's. Put that stuff away. Watered my lawn. So it's been a good, productive day. I just haven't exercised yet. I've been up for
13, almost 14 hours now, and I'm beat. 14? 13. Yeah, I got up a little earlier than normal today. I don't know why. I just felt like I needed a couple of extra minutes to get ready in the morning. I've mentioned before that Friday I've made it part of my routine to get my sheets in the washing machine before I leave for work, so that when I come home I can throw them in the dryer. Well, today I wanted to go ahead and wash a couple of blankets that are a little heavier, so I put them in first, so that when I got home I could put them in the dryer, because I knew they would take a little longer to dry. So, through my little waif-like shower curtain cover, I guess that's the shower curtain, right? The liner is the plastic part inside. Threw that in with my sheets, and then just hung it back up to dry. It's one of those thin, super thin nylon things, so it's probably already dry, and it's only been up a couple hours. Spray my bed down, including my pillows, both sides, with a little lavender spray, so it smells nice, lavendery, sleep-inducing lavender when I go to bed tonight. Don't have to get up super early tomorrow. Spurs don't play till 12:30, so I can load up on the Delta 9 tonight and get a good long sleep. And washed a couple of pairs of shoes, actually 3 pair of shoes. Like stain remover, and scrubbed them and had them in the bathtub, rinsing everything. Not soaking the shoes, but you know what I mean. Washing them off real good. A couple of them that I just got a little bit of red clay walking through some areas of my yard that are barren, so to speak. And one of them just cleaned up a little bit. Did my scratch offs. I got, I don't know what the exact percentage is, but I got a pretty good percentage of my money back. I didn't get it all back, but I got the amount that I didn't get back is what I would pay for some entertainment. So we'll just look at that as my entertainment, which is kind of what I do most weeks. If I don't get all of it back, it's fine. I am on a good run still. Yeah. And I hit Mega Millions for, I think, about $12 this past week. Sure would like to hit that main jackpot. Can you imagine? $400-something million. And let's see, answered some of the same damn questions I answer every day. Walt again asked me, as I mentioned earlier, I figured he would. He asked me what time Penn State was on. And I just shake my head. So today's Friday. Penn State's on tomorrow. And he laughs like he's joking, but he's serious, and he laughs as a cover for his, what I can only assume is something closely related to embarrassment. That's fine. He's old. He does things that he doesn't mean to or doesn't know he's doing, and I'm sure it's embarrassing. If he was in his right mind, he'd be mortified. How many times I heard him as a younger man say, "Chrissy, don't ever let me be that way." Well, guess what, old man? You are that way. That's okay. Anyway. Alright, I gotta get sweaty here, I guess. Get the heart rate up a little bit. I'm actually thinking I'm gonna row, but I'm gonna just take it easy. I've been busting my hump a little bit, trying to get my pace down. Maybe today we'll just focus on endurance, not pace. Used to do that a lot on my bike. I'd go for long rides. Not concerned about pace, just concerned about, on a bike you want to make sure that your butt can sit in the seat for that long, and that your hands can rest on handlebars that long, and that kind of stuff. And with my nerve issues in my hands, sometimes I just want to focus on being able to pull on that handle for an hour or more. I feel like when I do get faster, it starts to feel like a half marathon is farther and farther away from being doable. But I'm getting there. And if I'm going to get there, I got to get started. So I'm going to go get started. And I may or may not talk to you later. See ya. All right, I'm done. It's 6:30. I don't feel like doing anything else today. I'm probably going to do some abs of some sort, but not exactly sure why I did it, because the plan was to gradually increase my daily meters 1,000 at a time, doing 8,000 every day or not every day, but every day that I row, most days, for like 6 weeks, 2 months, whatever it was, and then going up to 9,000. And I've only done 9,000 like a handful of times, but of course had some 10K days thrown in there. I've probably done more 10Ks this season than I realized. Anyway, for some reason I was really torn what to do, whether I wanted to do 9 again or do 10 or do an hour, and I decided to go ahead and row blind for 12,000 meters. Now, when I say row blind, I mean I can only see the last 2 digits counting down the meters. So after a certain amount of time, if I haven't really paid attention to the clock and have a good estimate of my pace, I don't know when I'm coming to an end. But when I see that 99 or the 10, if I see 09, then I'm still going. If I just see a 9, then I'm 9 meters away from being done. So it kind of just makes you not pay attention to how long you have yet to row, and so you just kind of get on and keep going, which is what I wanted to do. Now, I would like to have done 12,000 in under an hour. I'm working back towards that. I think my all-time best hour row was 13,000 something. That was about 4 years ago, probably, when my rowing was better, faster at least. And today it was an hour and 3 or 4 minutes, 3 minutes and something. So I'm okay with that. For the first time in a long time, after a good hard 9K yesterday, my pace on my 9 was really good yesterday. I'd like to maintain or improve on that. And interestingly enough, at that pace that I rode yesterday, I would have gotten probably close to 12.5 in an hour. I didn't extrapolate that out too far, but yeah, definitely feel like the rowing is improving. I'm really just trying to be more conscientious of my form. I know what to do. I was trained what to do and how to row. And it's just a matter of making your brain continually tell your body. It's not, you can't just say, okay, here's what we do, and then go on about your business. You have to continually focus on, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this, through the process. Straighten your legs, pull it in, put your hands out, bend your leg. I mean, there's just a procedure, a progression of small segments of the movement that have to be done, and done in order to have a good, efficient stroke. It's not about the power of your stroke. It's not about the frequency of your stroke, the speed, the intensity of your stroke. It's about the length of your stroke. Getting a good reach forward, getting a consistently strong pull, and leaning back to extend that rowing stroke just a little farther. And when I do that, and I'm actually not rowing blind, where I can actually see the pace on the monitor, my pace is better when I'm doing that form the way you're supposed to. So anyway, I'm rambling on about things that I don't know that anybody cares. But that's what my videos are all about, right? All right. it's time for me to go. I need to grab a bite to eat and get ready to feed the grouch in there. And I think I'm done for the day. I'll see you tomorrow.